I'm Jacqueline.
I'm sitting on a plane, flying towards Germany, a new chapter in my life that my family knew nothing about until the very last moment. Just 3 weeks ago, I walked across the college graduation stage all by myself. While I received my well-earned diploma in front of a sea of strangers, my parents were at home, hosting a big basketball game party. The seats I'd reserved for them were empty. After the ceremony, I sat in the parking lot and sobbed until I could hardly breathe. But then, I remembered the letter tucked inside my graduation gown. A letter I hadn't opened yet. That letter was about to change everything. Let me take you back a bit. 4 years ago, at 18, I got into college with a partial scholarship. I was over the moon and rushed downstairs to tell my parents. My dad, engrossed in his stock market news on the computer, barely looked up. "That's great, honey. But we need to talk about money," he said. It turned out my younger brother, Jake, was into competitive swimming. His coach said he had the potential to go pro, and they needed to invest in his training. "You've always been so self-sufficient, Jacqueline. Jake needs more support. You understand, right?" My mom said, patting my shoulder. From that day on, I became a shadow in my own family. I applied for every scholarship I could find. I worked as a cashier at a convenience store early in the morning, a library assistant in the afternoon, and a pet sitter in the evenings. I ate cheap instant noodles most of the time to save money. My GPA soared to 3.8, but my bank account was always on the verge of zero. Meanwhile, Jake got a state-of-the-art swimming gear set for his 19th birthday. "He needs the best equipment to perform well," my dad explained. "He also got a personal coach to train him. Athlete needs professional guidance," my mom insisted. Jake even got to travel to national swimming competitions first class. They called it an investment in his future. In the 4 years of college, I went home only 5 times. Each time, it was the same old story. I'd help my mom cook for Jake's friends, listen to Jake talk about his swimming achievements, and watch him open gifts while I sat quietly in the corner. No one ever asked about my research project on environmental protection or my academic awards. 6 weeks before graduation, I mustered up the courage to call my parents. "Mom, graduation is on March 15th, 3 p.m. I said, my heart pounding. There was a long silence on the line. I could hear the TV in the background, the commentator's voice booming about the upcoming basketball game. "Sweetheart, you know what day that is, right?" My mom finally said, "It's the day of the big basketball finals. Jake has some important sponsors coming to watch the game with us. This could be his big break," my dad added. I felt my chest tighten. "Dad, I'm graduating with honors. I've worked so hard for this for 4 years," I said, my voice trembling. "We're proud of you, honey. But basketball finals only come once a year, and graduations happen every year," my mom said in that overly sweet tone I'd heard so many times. I wanted to scream and remind them of all the sacrifices I'd made, but I knew it wouldn't change anything. "I understand," I whispered. After hanging up, I realized they never asked about my honors, my excitement, or what I needed. To them, my graduation was just an ordinary day. The night after that call, I called my Grandma Rose. She was an 82-year-old retired school principal with a sharp mind and a kind heart. "Jacqueline, my dear," she said, her voice warm and comforting. "I heard about your parents. They're making a big mistake." "Grandma, I don't know if I can do this alone," I said, my voice breaking. "You're not alone. I'll be there, even if I have to crawl," she said firmly. I knew Grandma lived 3 hours away and had some health issues, but she was determined. 1 week before graduation, I was called into Dr. Emily Davis's office. Dr. Davis had been my thesis advisor for 2 years. She was a no-nonsense woman in her late 50s who always pushed me to do my best. "Jacqueline, I've been watching you for 4 years. You're one of the most dedicated students I've ever taught. Your thesis on environmental protection is outstanding," she said. Then she reached into her drawer and pulled out a sealed envelope. "8 months ago, I nominated you for something. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to get your hopes up. Don't open it until after the graduation ceremony," she added. 5 days before graduation, I went home to pick up some old things. When I pulled into the driveway, I saw a huge banner across the garage door. Jake's big basketball game party. The house was full of activity. My mom was on the phone ordering food, and my dad was setting up a big screen in the backyard. Jake was lying on the couch, checking his swimming stats on his phone. "Jacqueline, I didn't know you were coming. Just grab what you need. We're really busy with the party. 30 guests are coming." This could be Jake's chance to get a big sponsorship, my mom said distractedly. I walked into the kitchen. There were piles of decorations, basketball, shaped balloons, and a big cake with Jake's picture on it. "Do you need help?" I asked, hating myself for that desperate attempt to be included.
No.
"You should go back to school. Don't you have that graduation thing soon?" My mom said, barely looking at me. The night before graduation, I called home one last time, hoping against hope that they'd come. But all I heard was laughter and music on the other end. They were already having a pre-party. "Mom, I'm graduating with high honors and I'm the student representative for the graduation speech," I said, my voice shaking. "Wow, that's great, honey. Hold on. Jake's sponsor just texted. He's bringing some extra people," my mom said, her voice distant. "Mom, this is important to me," I pleaded. "Stella, honey, I'll call you back later." "We're really busy," she said, and hung up. On graduation day, I woke up early. I showered, styled my hair, and put on the simple dress I'd bought on sale. I put on my graduation gown and felt the envelope in the pocket. It was still sealed, full of unknown possibilities. I took an Uber to the stadium. When I got there, I searched for the family seating section. The seats I'd reserved for my family were empty, but on one of the seats, there was a hand-knitted scarf that Grandma Rose had made for me. Just then, my phone vibrated. It was Grandma. "Sweetheart, there's a terrible traffic accident on the highway.
I'm stuck."
"I'm so sorry," she texted. I fought back the tears and walked towards the graduate assembly area. Around me, students were hugging their families, while I stood alone. The ceremony began. When my name was called, I walked towards the podium. As I stood there, looking at the sea of faces, I saw Grandma Rose, out of breath, making her way to her seat. She gave me a thumbs up and I found my voice. 4 years ago, I came to this campus with big dreams and very little money. I faced many challenges, but I never gave up. Success isn't about having everyone's love and support. It's about knowing your worth even when no one is watching, I said. After the ceremony, I went to the parking lot and sat on a bench. The tears came pouring out. 4 years of loneliness and being overlooked all came out at once. Then I remembered the envelope. I opened it with trembling hands. It was a letter from a well-known international environmental research program. I'd been selected as a scholar, with a full scholarship, living stipend, and research opportunities in Germany. Grandma Rose found me in the parking lot. She hugged me tightly. "My brilliant girl," she said. Over the next 3 weeks, I prepared for my trip to Germany. My mom called once a week, but it was always about Jake swimming and how I should come home to celebrate with them. I just told them I was busy. 3 weeks after graduation, it was Grandma Rose's birthday party. I decided to tell my family about my scholarship. When it was my turn to share good news, I took out the letter. "I've been selected as a scholar for an international environmental research program in Germany," I said. The room went silent. My mom's face turned pale, and my dad looked stunned. "I received this letter on graduation day, the same day you were having a party for Jake instead of coming to my graduation," I said. My parents tried to make excuses, but I didn't let them. "I've worked hard for this. I'm not asking for your permission. I'm choosing myself," I said firmly. Jake also apologized. He said he didn't know how much I'd been struggling. It was a start. 2 days later, I'm at the airport, ready to board my one-way flight to Germany. My phone has been buzzing with missed calls from my parents and texts from Jake, but I haven't answered them. The only message I cared about was from Grandma Rose. "Fly safe, my dear. The world is waiting for you." As the plane takes off, I look out the window at the city below. I'm leaving behind the old me, the girl who was always overlooked. I'm flying towards a future where I'm valued, where I can shine on my own terms.